Well, hi there, and welcome back to Dance Colleges and Careers. I'm your host, Brittany Noltemeyer, and today we are talking about those slippery floors, the slippery stage floors. So let's get to it. How many times has your child come off the stage totally panicked because they're like, it's so slippery, I'm never going to be able to do this, I'm never going to be able to get my front walkover, or I'm going to slip, I'm going to fall, and they start panicking and freaking out. Has that ever happened? I got to tell you, this one time I was dancing at a nursing home. P.S. Like some of my favorite performances ever. And so we're dancing on linoleum floor, tap dancing and advanced lyrical dances on a very slippery linoleum floor that is much smaller than a stage. And it was so slippery. In my tap duet with my friend DJ, I totally fell right to the floor. I can still feel the pain in my right hip of hitting the floor. And then after that, I was like, oh, okay, it's slippery. What can we do to not fall down and break a hip? So this episode is to help you come up with some ideas for different types of flooring and how to manage them in your dancing. So first of all, one of the things we learn in dance, and as you get more advanced through their career, is they learn how to get more grounded. When you're grounded, you're using more plie, which that means then you're using more of your core, your thigh muscles, your glutes. So basically those really strong muscles that keep you centered and on your body. That is a skill that we're still learning, especially in our tween years, even into adulthood. So it is a challenge to get more grounded. So my first note for your child is to get more grounded. But I'm also fully aware that that doesn't just happen overnight. So when you're on a slippery floor, you do want to be able to use your plie more, because then, as in bend your knees, but bend your knees and not stick your booty out. Bend your knees and use that center, use your core, use these strong leg muscles, those tree trunks that we spend every day working on and building up. So especially in tap dances, we're already taught that we are supposed to tap in a plie. Your knees are always supposed to be nice and soft when we're tap dancing. It helps protect our knees, but also it's just part of our technique in tap dancing. So we want to have those soft knees. So using that softness in the lower half of the body and being able to squeeze our muscles almost like as a brake when things start to get slippery can really help. Like I said, that is a great note, but very difficult if you're like, okay, cool, but I'm not there yet in my technique. I'm not strong enough there in my core. So what else can I do? Thanks, Brittany. I'll work on that. But what else can I do in the meantime? The other thing I always say, and this is for auditions I've attended, when you go to dance workshops, you have to bring all of your shoes. And that might even be shoes that you don't normally wear for this routine. Let's say you get to the theater and it's really cold out. When it's cold, sometimes that can make the marley really slippery. And I don't know the science behind it, but it does happen. So what do you have to do? Like, what shoes are you going to be most successful in? If it's so awful and they can't do anything about it and it's just so slippery, you might have to switch and go barefoot. Although, unless you're like me, my hands and feet don't get very sweaty. They're actually really dry. So that might not help me keep my footing. Like I might be more successful in that situation in a jazz shoe, but I'm also most comfortable in a jazz shoe. Consider having a shoe change. Now, this is only if it's for a solo or very small group, and if your teacher is totally on board and recommends and suggests it. Do not do this as a cop-out of, it's too slippery, I have to wear this shoe instead. That's what Brittany said on her podcast. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. It's an option in dramatic circumstances. You want to look your best. The shoes you've picked out at the beginning of the semester probably are meant for you to look your best and look and feel your best. And if this is a crazy day with crazy circumstances, maybe it requires a shoe change. Oh, my mom and I put on this musical in Uganda, Africa. and I tap danced in it. We were doing the Pied Piper. So I was the tap dancer, and I was tap dancing in the dirt. Yeah, we were supposed to perform outside, also in the dirt, but on like a piece of plywood I was going to tap dance on. But instead, it was like pouring down rain in a dry season. So it was really abnormal, but it was pouring down rain. So we moved this show into this small classroom that was dirt. It was a dirt floor. And so there I am tap dancing on this piece of plywood that was also covering a hole. And then while I was tap dancing, I broke through the plywood. I fell through the hole into the dirt, and I'm wearing my $300 tap shoes, tap dancing in the dirt, trying to make some sounds, lots of big upper body movements because the audience level was flat. Okay, so like I was considering a shoe change there, what can I get the best sound out of? But in the end, my answer was still my tap shoes because that's what we were trying to show there in the performance. But this is what I'm talking about. You could be in any type of, sometimes the elements change and you can be put in a crazy situation like that when you're literally dancing in the dirt. I've had other friends dance in water, dance in sand. Oh, there was this religious show in North Carolina, I think, where my friend was in sand. An amazing venue, so beautiful. And but she said there's this part where they were laying on the floor, and in one of the performances, because it's in the outdoors, like she's laying like this, and there's a snake. There was a snake on the stage, and maybe I feel like I want to say it was a rattlesnake, but maybe I'm just saying that to make the story more dramatic. But either way, you're laying like this, and your choreography is that you can't move. You're blocking, you can't move, and there's a snake coming at you. Ah! Okay, sorry. There's my tangent on how you can be performing in any element, any scenario, any flooring. But yeah, so that's why you have to bring all your shoes with you, because in an extreme circumstance, something else might work better for your solo, or maybe you've been practicing in your studio and you find all these other floorings. It doesn't make sense to use what you've been working with. Here's where we're going with this. If you are wearing black tights and you usually wear black shoes, do not just put on your ballet shoe. Like, I'm not telling you to switch your shoe and look dorky. I want you to look good. I want you to feel good. And our shoes and our tights or our ankles should always be the same color. Or small circumstances where maybe that's not the case, but we typically we want that line to be the same. We'll talk about shoes in a different episode, but if you're going from the half shoes and instead you put on a jazz shoe. So if you're considering the shoe change, first of all, make sure that your dance teacher is okay with it, or it was their suggestion, or it has to be that bad. Okay. Something else to think about, because usually it's either really sticky and it can be hard for certain movements, right? Like if you have slides, if you do knee slides, or if you have like a slide on the balls of your feet in your socks and the floor is really sticky, movements like that can be more difficult. But sometimes if it's really slippery, what can you do? If it's slippery, people will you can use rosin. On most stages, sometimes there's rules, right? There's different rules in different venues, but you can use rosin. But I like to use water sometimes, because sometimes if we're on a sticky floor like that, it could be like Coke or hairspray, and it could create a film of dirt on the bottom of your shoe. So if you have that film of dirt, that could be making it more slippery as well. So another option is to have just available a wet paper towel and dip your feet in it. Depending on your venue or whatever, that might work. Not like soaking wet. A little bit damp might help you out a little bit. Obviously, you can't do that with your tap shoes. Okay, tap shoes, you do just have to plie, keep your feet under control, which is going to be more underneath your body. It might mean that you might have to bring your legs in a little bit closer than they are sometimes, if it's that slippery. Okay, you might have to Make your movements a little bit smaller so that you can maintain the control over the rest of your body. But do not use this as an excuse. I can't tell you anything more annoying than a performer getting off the stage, making a mistake, and the first thing they say is, the floor is too slippery. I messed up because the floor is too slippery. Okay, if the first thing you come off doing is blaming somebody else for your mistake, then that's an attitude adjustment we need to start changing right now. First of all, because we know it isn't our technique. If we get stronger in our core, in our lower half of our body, we can have more control over that. So by blaming the stage on it being slippery, I mean, you should know better. Unless this is your first performance ever, which I doubt it is because you are a competition kid, you should know better. Okay, you should have better integrity, better character than coming off and blaming somebody else. And if you're not, it's time to have a little bit of an attitude check. Yeah, that's my biggest thing. When you do not use the stage is slippery as an excuse. I'll tell you now, you should be embarrassed if you're saying that. Everybody backstage is probably a professional dancer or has been in their life. The judges are professionals, and using it as an excuse, blaming somebody else for your own mistakes, is immature and just bad character. So I encourage you, if that's something that you're blaming it on already, start taking that out of your vocabulary. It's really slippery. Let's be careful on this part. It's really slippery. How will that affect me in my next dance? The downstage left corner has a really slick spot. Make sure you're careful over there. Use it as safety and helping each other, but not, I didn't get my aerial because the stage is too slippery. No. That is whiny. calling you out if that's where we're at. But I encourage you to move on past that. The other thing, when you roll down on the floor and you're all sweaty, right? Everybody's all sweaty, dancing all day. Those sweat marks can make patches of the floor slippery where we might not know about. We always, with dance competitions, try to clean up any room for error, any place where maybe a kid could get injured. Okay, so if we know there's a really slippery part on the stage, we'll do what we can to fix that. But sometimes you don't know. Sometimes somebody did a roll on their back in that spot over there, and it makes one little patch very slippery. Be aware, find that control, and most importantly, take ownership of yourself, of your body, and start to learn how to adapt to these different scenarios, these different stages, the different venues. Each competition is different. Yeah. Sometimes they come into a venue and the venue has very strict rules on them where maybe they have to use the venue's flooring, or maybe they have to bring in their own flooring. And so it can be different anytime you're there. So even though sometimes we might think we finally have it figured out, oh, this one's really slippery, this one's really sticky. Well, what happens one day if somebody different washed the floor and they, I don't know, used different cleaner with it, or sometimes they'll use a covering to make it a little stickier. Sometimes in the morning or in the beginning of the day, it can be really sticky and it'll start to wear away later, leading it to get slippery. So the competitions do their absolute best to keep you safe. They sweep as much as they can. They try to make sure they clean up any messes. I can't speak for all competitions. Yeah, I can't speak for everybody, but that is the mentality, right? We want children to be safe. We want to see you succeed. Every competition has that, and I can guarantee. So what can you do to adapt? What can you do to be okay in any scenario? As an adult, at most auditions, we have to attend in heels, usually. And sometimes, sometimes the flooring can be difficult. I've been in some auditions when the person running the audition said, hey, look, this floor is not right for this type of shoe, so let's use this instead. Here's a great example. I'm going to teach at a big convention this weekend. When I'm there, I know that it's going to be carpet. I know it's carpet on concrete. So I have to prepare the shoes I want to bring for how I want to teach. I always bring my sneakers and jazz shoes. Like I said, I'm a jazz shoe girl. We had to wear them all through college. I just like jazz shoes. And I like how it completes my lines. I'm comfortable in them. But sometimes, especially at workshops, you've been dancing from 9 to 5. Maybe at 3 o'clock, your feet kind of hurt in your jazz shoes. Maybe you'll do a better job if you take that class barefoot or something. Yeah. So there's different reasons for all these different elements, as long as it's okay with your teacher. If your teacher says wear your jazz shoes, put your jazz shoes on. If they say ballet, although if you're in a ballet class, you better have your ballet shoes on. It's kind of some more of the other classes where there is more flexibility in the shoe wear that I'm talking about here, but where it could change for you in ballet, I have leather ballet shoes and I have canvas ballet shoes. And then I have canvas ballet shoes that the whole bottom is also canvas, and then different ones where they're canvas and leather. Now, my studio in here, you see my bar over there? I usually prefer my leather ballet shoes in here. Now, I gotta say, I didn't go out and buy leather ballet shoes. I was sent them in a free trial, as I buy a lot of dance clothes and things for work. But they have come in handy a lot. I think we had to have leather ballet shoes in college too. They're not my favorite, okay? I'm definitely more a fan of the canvas ballet shoe, but in my studio here, it's really it's slippery. Yeah. So, and I know you have to use your glutes and your own muscles to maintain your turnout, but still, the leather shoes help me sustain that, help me thrive in my own studio here. So that's what I normally do when I'm taking class out of this room. And that's just because that's what I'm comfortable with and I'm used to this flooring. But if I go to a different studio, I usually wear my canvas shoes, but I'm still wearing ballet shoes. Yeah, I'm still wearing the same style of shoe to respect the art. The point is to connect to the floor and bring it back and feel that, like, as students, as you get older and you're professionals or teachers, that's a different story. We're on our feet differently and different things hurt on us. Okay. But as a student, you need to be wearing ballet shoes in ballet class. Yeah. And not barefoot either. Because when we're barefoot, that's when our foot is like sticky and it disconnects from the floor. That's not the point. That's not the point in ballet. The point is to feel the floor, but be able to push into the floor and stay connected to it. If your foot is going ba 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 ba, then you're not even able to execute the first couple steps at the bar to be able to succeed throughout the rest of the class. Woo! Talking really fast about this. Sorry, I must be feeling pretty passionate. All right, so I guess wear the right shoes and don't use it as an excuse. I'll try to calm down here. For you. So parents, that's what we need to do here. So parents, I feel like in this scenario, you could maybe see your child not at their best. Okay, because this is when they come off stage frustrated, nervous, and complaining about something that they feel they don't have any control or power over. So often, who gets the brunt of it? You do. I know you do. It's not their friend, it's not their dance teacher, probably. I doubt if they're coming off yelling at their dance teacher about the stage, whoa. But I could see where that is maybe where they come and are sad to you and can maybe get a little sassy or rude. So I'm here this is why we're talking about this. So you know how you can how to help them reshape the way they think about it, the way they are getting prepared for different types of flooring, and what they can do to succeed every time they perform in a different environment. Because every time they perform in a different environment, they're also growing, learning, and getting out of their comfort zone, getting out of their regular day bubble. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you had fun today on our episode about those slippery floors, different types of floors, and how to maneuver when you're moving from one space to another, different types of venues. Again, my name's Brittany Oltemeyer, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me in the description below. There's a button where it says send Brittany a message. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions about this, or if you have a situation with your child and you're wondering how to help them through something, I am here for you. I'm here to help you. I know how it gets, especially in those teen years when the attitude starts to reel in and the nerves are there, and who gets the attitude? You probably see it the most. So I'm happy to help you maneuver around some of these areas to help keep the peace, if I must say. Yeah, to help them grow, but to be able to support them and grow with them. All right. You have a wonderful day and keep on dancing.